Hello, in today's video I'm finally going to share with you my update on advanced TRS. I've been taking it now for 6 weeks with some incredible changes and results. So today's video is going to be all about that, and I guess it's also going to be a little further health update. So let's get started. I told you briefly about advanced TRS, that I was trying it in my last health update video, but I want to make a whole video just about that, what it does, how it does it, and so on and so forth. So I'd really want you to leave me any questions you have about advanced TRS in the comments under this video, and the next one is going to be basically answering to all of your questions, because there's so many things to say when it comes to advanced TRS, and I really just don't know where to even start. So if you tell me what you're interested in, what you want to know, what questions you have about it, then it will be easier for me to structure the next video. Advanced TRS is a contaminant and toxin removal support product. It's very famous for getting rid of heavy metals and helping autistic children start speaking and become normal. It's incredibly effective and very, very gentle. So it's safe for pregnant women, nursing women, little newborns, literally everyone. That's why I personally love it so much, because I'm still breastfeeding my toddler, and so it was important for me to have something really safe at any time of my life, really. And it's not just for me, also my toddler is taking it, all of our pets, my husband, my mom, my sister. So I really believe in it, and we're all seeing incredible results. So for the first 7 days of taking TRS, I made notes every single day because I thought it would be very interesting to look back and see exactly what was going on. On day 1, which was the 7th of July, I didn't really expect to feel any results on the first day, but I did. I sprayed it in the morning, and then for the rest of the day I just felt amazing. I had so much energy, my mood was incredible. I also muscle tested from the first day, and muscle testing is another great thing to do. I think I'll make another video just about muscle testing, because it's so helpful for testing any kind of supplements, any kind of foods, to know if a certain supplement is good for you and how much of it you need. So I muscle test for how much TRS I need every single time, and it really helps. So I started from one and a half sprays in the morning and 1 spray in the evening. Generally they say you have to start from 1. But I trusted my body and I started with a little bit more. One interesting thing I remember is that I had some sharp pain in my kidney area, and I had a kidney infection around 10 years ago, 8 years ago. And since then I always had some pain in the area, in the lower back area. And I felt that sharp pain for a minute or so, and then the pain completely went away, and my lower back felt so good, so supple, so soft, no pain at all. I felt like I could move so much better, so that was really interesting. I also noted down that day when I went to bed, my tongue was very, very clean, and my gums and teeth felt really good. I felt very excited, full of life. Also, it was day 4 of my period, so normally I would be very tired after a period, after losing some blood, but I was full of energy, which was really strange for me. My eyes were really red and itchy, but at that time they were, before TRS, they were always like this, always full of sand and really itchy and really red, and I couldn't stop rubbing them. I spoke about it in my previous health update. So I sprayed some TRS into the itchy eye, and the redness and the itching and everything completely subsided. Because I had all this sinus blockage, all the swelling around the sinuses because of my hay fever, I always had this swelling all under my eyes, and it was just so ugly, made me look so unhealthy, and that started going away right from the first day. Now on the second day when I woke up, the most amazing thing is that I woke up with 0 hay fever, and I haven't had it since then. So it's been 6 weeks without any hay fever, any sinus issues, any allergy issues at all, which for me is blessing. And again, because of that, my under eye bags have pretty much completely disappeared. Now I just have a little bit of under eye darkness in the inner corners, but I don't have those horrible dark puffy bags underneath anymore. So on that day 2, I wrote no hay fever in the morning for the first time in ages, feeling great. Muscle tested for 1 spray in the morning, 1 spray in the PM. Super good mood, sprayed in one eye when itching, and the itching went away. super clear white eyes, even less swelling under the eyes, less wetting, feeling less hot. And that's important for me because it gets really hot where I live, especially at home. And I used to really struggle with that. But with the TRS, I don't really struggle much with the heat, and I don't struggle much with the cold either. I just always feel comfortable. Like today we have 40 degrees Celsius outside, 30 degrees Celsius in the house, and not even sweating. It's just incredible for me. Sweat is a little bit more smelly, and I experienced that at the beginning. In fact, I had problems with the body odor for years and years and years, ever since my health started deteriorating. So I experienced it being more smelly for maybe a couple of weeks, and now it's gone so much better. Before I had to reapply my deodorant maybe a couple of times during the day because otherwise I would end up smelling, and now I can go all the way until the end of the day with zero smell. Leonardo laughed more than ever today. I started Leonardo on one spray at the same time as myself and my husband as well. He was very chilled and happy. Seems to be peeing less frequently and trying to signal more. So yeah, that's something that I experienced right from the start with him. He used to pee very often, like every half an hour, probably less than half an hour, which for a baby of 15 months is not really so standard. And now he's peeing much less frequently, and I can see now that he sits on the potty when he wants to actually go and do something. He's starting to signal a bit more. Very positive mood, awesome poo, very smooth, calm stomach. So yeah, that's another thing that really blew my mind. I had an issue with my stools for many years now. Even though they became really regular before my pregnancy, I still had a lot of undigested food in there. It was not consistent texture, but from the second day on TRS, it became normal for the first time in years, possibly even my whole life. I don't remember how it was before I got into self-healing and natural living because I wasn't really looking at my poos, but I tried a lot of different things, and TRS is what finally fixed it for me. Then on day 3 I wrote, I felt a bit more tired, but then I sprayed and felt good again. Muscle tested for 3 sprays in the morning. So muscle testing actually made me go up with the sprays quite quickly. Skin feels smooth and comfortable. My stomach is very quiet and calm. And on day 6 I wrote, muscle tested 2 sprays in the morning and 2 sprays in the evening. Feeling great. Suddenly realized that all my irrational fears have disappeared. Looked at a couple on a motorbike on the motorway and suddenly thought I could do it. I would have never ridden behind someone else before. Yeah, and that's something that really blew my mind because my husband always wanted to do something like that with me, with a bicycle or motorbike or anything like that, and I never ever would have done anything like that because I could have never been able to trust anyone. I was so scared of it. But suddenly I looked at that couple and I just felt I could do it. And it happened for so many other things that I used to be scared of. Even spiders. Now I see spiders and I don't have this irrational fear like I used to have it before. Yes, I do get scared, but I don't jump around stomping and screaming like before. So my fear is much more rational now. Also, when walking outside, I feel comfortable in my skin. I don't feel self-conscious as if I'm being watched all the time. Yeah, that's something also changed for me a lot. So I thought that everybody was like that, but apparently they're not. When I used to go outside, I always felt watched and I was always very uncomfortable. How I was standing, how I was moving, I always felt judged and watched, and so I could never really fully relax. Yesterday, Luca said that my eye color was changing. Yeah, he was just looking at my eyes and he suddenly said, they're so much more green. Poo is perfect every day. Pooing every morning now, nothing on the toilet paper when I wipe. It might be TMI for some of you, but it's important to talk about these things. If your poo is healthy, when you wipe the toilet paper, there should be nothing on it. It should be totally clean. And I tried to achieve that for years and years and years, and now I have it. So that's a huge sign of healing. I feel tired after big meals for maybe 5 minutes, but then I feel recharged, which is so different from how I used to be before. Before I used to be wiped for an hour or two after every single meal. I glanced at a mirror in the bedroom today and realized that my skin is much more plump, even and healthier looking. Yeah, it happens to me all the time now. I just pass a mirror and I glimpse myself, and I just can't believe how good my skin looks now. No more wrinkles under the eyes. They're definitely smoothed out so much, and I think a part of it is because of the under eye bags disappearing, but also the wrinkles are disappearing everywhere, also for my husband. And on that same day I also wrote, last night I had pain over my belly button, like some sort of hernia. By morning it was gone. I sprayed in the belly button in the afternoon, and so then I got that kind of pain. I don't know what it was, it never came back again, but apparently spraying in the belly button is actually very effective because it goes right into the belly, right into the area you want to target. Leonardo is like a different child. His eyes are lighter and seem to be getting green. He slept through the night, very little pee, because generally after the night his nappy is completely full, but that particular night it was very little. Caught many pees, much longer periods of being dry, so much more courage in the playground with other people and kids. He went down the 1.5 meter slide today all by himself. Enjoyed the ocean so much and interacted with everyone on the beach. So cuddly with me. Zero tantrums. Doesn't even start crying. Doesn't get angry. Very nice poops for 2 days already. So changes in Leonardo have also been really noticeable already by day 6. Then on day 7 I wrote, incontinence has completely disappeared, as well as urgency from the first day. That's another mind-blowing change for me. I was okay after giving birth, but 2 weeks after I developed incontinence, and I would lose pee while sneezing, or just running to the toilet and not managing it in time, perhaps maybe 4 or 5 times a week, and it was really annoying, as you can imagine. But ever since I started TRS, so it's been 6 weeks, it hasn't happened even once. I always suspected that the incontinence was somehow neurological, some kind of neurological damage rather than birth trauma, because I was fine for the first 2 weeks postpartum. And it seems that I was right, because TRS has completely fixed it. Leonardo slept for 10.5 hours straight, didn't wake up, which was amazing. And nappy was completely dry, unheard of. His poo was very well formed, but had mucus, so maybe he was losing some biofilms or candida, that happens. I slept straight through without waking up as well. Sleep improvements have been amazing for all 3 of us, to be honest. I sleep like a teenager now. Ever since Leonardo was born, I was sleeping very lightly. I was watching and listening to his every single move, every single breath. I guess it's something that happens to all the mothers because he still sleeps right next to me. But ever since I got TRS, I go to bed, I fall asleep right away, and I sleep without waking up. I sleep incredibly well. I don't remember ever sleeping this well. And it's not just my subjective opinion. I also track my sleep with a smartwatch. And while before I was getting around 2 hours of deep sleep in a night, now I get 3, sometimes even 4. So that's a huge improvement. Then I didn't write anything for around 20 days. As I said, life just got the better of me. But changes continued. They slowed down a little bit. They were not as mind-blowing as the beginning, but they still happened consistently for all of us. So on day 27, I wrote, still no sign of hay fever or mast cell activation disorder symptoms. No runny nose, eyes itch sometimes, but rubbing them doesn't lead to anything else. Before, if I rubbed them, then the other eye used to itch and then used to just cascade through my whole body, and it was horrible. That's completely gone. No undigested food, nothing on the toilet paper, no loose stools, very regular, once or twice every day. Never had poos as nice as this in my life. Under eye bags dramatically reduced. Darkness under eyes much better. Wrinkles around eyes much better. I look much younger. Pore shrinking, less oiliness. Pore shrinking is another thing. Dermatologists generally say that pores, big pores, can never change. It's something genetic. You're born with big pores, but it's so not true, because I can see pores literally getting smaller and smaller in front of my own eyes. So it's not true. And also the oiliness, regardless of how hot it is, like right now it's super hot, but I'm not oily and I'm not sweating, which again is something I haven't seen at all in my whole life. My skin feels much softer out everywhere, on my face, on my body, and also on the upper arms. I used to have these bumps on my upper arms that have completely smoothed out. My soles on the feet becoming softer and softer. I used to have a lot of hardened skin, and that is also melting off. There are no more cracks. The skin is definitely getting much nicer, and the dryness of the feet is generally linked to thyroid issues. So it seems that my thyroid is getting much better too. Every single time I wash my face in the morning and evening, I usually put some oil afterwards. I used to use 4 drops, but then I realized that I had to use 3 or I would be too oily. It would just be too much for my skin. Then I had to move to 2 and sometimes even just 1. So it seems that my skin is much more nourished and it doesn't need as much oil to keep it happy. I don't have as many energy or mood swings, especially after eating fruit. Yeah, that's definitely an improvement too. If I ate fruit before, very often I used to just get a crash afterwards or get really in a low mood or really irritable. So that doesn't really happen at all or very rarely. My mood in general is much more even, and also my energy is much more even too. No crazy energy or euphoria bursts, but overall much more mellow. So my energy is not crazy high yet, but it's higher than it was and it's more even. So that's really nice. Less anxiety, muscles feel more relaxed. Sometimes I feel my whole body literally relaxing, and it's a feeling I never experienced it before, so that's nice. No joint pain, especially wrists, 90% gone. That's huge for me too. Ever since I gave birth, I used to feel a lot of pain in my wrists and also in my lower back, but that pain is pretty much by now 100% gone. Also, back is feeling much more supple, hardly ever any pain. So I do get lower back pain still sometimes from time to time, some kind of a sciatica pain, but much more rarely than before. And when it does come back, it's not as strong, so definitely improving. My Halfmoons seem to be coming out more. After giving birth, they pretty much completely disappeared, but now with the TRS and all my candida treatments, they are coming out again, and hopefully this time for good. Very heavy and quite painful period. Hopefully this is just detox and it will get better. So I wrote this a while ago and I have had since my second period and it was much better. So in the Facebook group for TRS, they actually discussed this, that the periods are worse for the first few months because your body collects a lot of toxins in the uterus. So at the beginning, it needs to get all of those toxins out, and it does that through heavier periods, and it's completely normal. But then with each period, it should get better and better. And in fact, my second one just finished, and it was much better. At the beginning, when I started taking TRS, I had this rash all around my wrist where I used to wear my watch with metal bracelet. For some reason, I started reacting to that metal. Now I got a different bracelet that is not metal, and that rash never came back. That is so interesting. I don't know if the bracelet was leaching some kind of metal, because often after wearing it on a hot day, I could see a black stain all around where the bracelet was. So perhaps it was leaching something into my skin, I don't know, but there was a rash, and by then it was completely cleared. 0 sores and cuts, wounds, burning in my mouth. Oh yeah, that's another amazing thing. So ever since giving birth, I also had extremely painful and sensitive mouth. I had these sores, and not really like mouth sores, but they were like cuts, like wounds all over my mouth. It was so painful when eating, tomatoes or anything salty. It was burning like crazy. It was really uncomfortable, and also my tongue was really sore. I believe that those were symptoms of candida, and TRS gets rid of candida very effectively. So that has completely gone away. My mouth is completely healed and tongue is not painful anymore, so that's amazing. No more burning throat. That's another thing. I used to get this crazy burning throat every single day, and that's pretty much gone. Sometimes I get little inklings of it, but it doesn't really progress to anything, and that's pretty much gone together with my allergy symptoms. Less Globus feeling still happens, but less. So Globus feeling is that kind of pulling, weird choking sensation that you get in your throat. around your esophagus area or your thyroid area that I used to get for years and years. That used to get better, used to get worse, and I believe it's also something to do with the candida, perhaps the esophageal candida, and that has pretty much gone away. I would say 90% gone by now, so that's really nice. Easier to motivate myself. Depends on some days more than others, because to be honest, I'm still pretty tired most of the time, and I'm a full-time mom of a toddler, so it does get tiring. But in general, as I said, my moods are more stable, so it's a little bit easier to motivate myself. I'm still far away from where I want to be, but I can feel I'm slowly getting there. So while the physical changes are incredible, I feel like the changes in my mind, in my mental health are much slower, but they will catch up, I'm sure. I feel ready to go to sleep at 9 p.m. So circadian rhythm seems to be normalizing. And perhaps that's due to detoxing the pineal gland. Pineal gland is what produces the melatonin and controls the circadian rhythm. And as TRS cleanses it, your body kind of tries to go back to the natural rhythm. And the natural rhythm is that as the sun goes down, you need to go to sleep. While I didn't feel tired before until maybe midnight or 1 a.m. and I always hated that because I wanted to go to sleep at a more normal time, now I feel tired much earlier. Bad things I noticed in the first month is very little motivation to exercise. And that is true. But I'm honoring it because that's what my body wants. So healing is a very difficult job to do, and I just don't feel like I should push my body and tire it when it's doing something so important and so difficult. So I've just been doing yoga, very simple, short yoga, maybe once or twice a week, just to keep my flexibility, but not really doing any cardio or any kind of weightlifting or body weight exercises or anything like that, because I don't know, intuitively I just feel like it's not the right thing for me to do. Also because it's so hot right now. I feel tired quite often. Healing is hard work. So yes, I definitely felt quite tired quite often in the first month. Now at 6 weeks it doesn't really happen that often anymore. But healing is really hard work, and it's normal to feel wiped out sometimes. But when I do feel tired, it's nothing like the tiredness I felt before. Sometimes quite irritable and short-tempered. And I can say that about myself and my husband. In the first month, I would say, it doesn't really happen anymore. But for the first month, we were so short-fused. It was so easy to just snap at each other and say something without thinking and just get angry really easily. But luckily we're both quite easygoing, and when that does happen, we kind of know it's not really us. We don't really mean it, so it's okay. But that's completely gone away now. Sometimes light hangover type feelings that happen maybe for the first month or so, but that as well doesn't really happen anymore. Another thing I noticed was that my hair was a little bit dry and unruly and straw-like for the first month, but that seems to have gone away now as well. So now I can't wait to see my curls re-emerge better than ever. Now for my husband, I mentioned my husband's progress before, but some more things we noticed. He has problems with the veins he inherited from his mom, and he had some veins coming out on his foot, and they were really painful. The shoes were rubbing on them, and it was painful for him to walk. So he started spraying TRS on them, and they went back in, and they stopped hurting, they stopped itching, they stopped burning, and they don't bother him anymore. So he was quite amazed. He literally looks 10 years younger. Wrinkles have disappeared, less under eye bags and darkness. His hair is darker, so it seems like he's losing that grayness in his hair, looking leaner and less puffy, and he's in better mood. I also took pictures of my husband and I because I wanted to see the physical changes in our faces, and I'm going to show them to you now. Now, if you look at my husband, I'll show him to you first. You can see that his under eye area and his eyes in general, they look 10 years younger. So much less wrinkles, so much less darkness, so much more brightness in his eyes. It's just incredible. And also that kind of white film on the eyes, which is usually candida, that has also reduced a lot. He feels much better, much more positive, and you can see that in his face, I think. Now, for me, the most amazing change for me is, well, first of all, much less under eye darkness, as you can see, much less puffiness, but also if you look at my eyes, one eye was much higher than the other. They were not symmetrical at all. And now they're pretty much completely symmetrical. The whole symmetry of my face is so much improved. And that is very interesting for me because facial symmetry or facial asymmetry is due to heavy metal toxicity, mostly aluminum or mercury toxicity. And I have both. And now it seems to be so much better. Now, one thing still remains, talking about asymmetry, and that's my lips. When I smile, one side of my lip still goes much higher than the other. So that's still some neurological damage from heavy metals remaining, but that is also getting better, I think. My face seems to be much brighter, much smoother. My skin is starting to look very nice. So yeah, I'm super excited about all these changes. I can't wait to see what we look like and feel like 6 months from now. And I'm very excited to also have some of you try it and, you know, share your results with me. It's just literally the best product I've ever bought and ever tried for my whole family. And while I'm taking TRS, this whole time I've also been taking caprylic acid and probiotics because I believe that candida is the most important reason for all my issues. Obviously heavy metals behind candida, but heavy metals caused candida and then candida caused all my other health issues. So caprylic acid and probiotics are very, very helpful in killing it. Right now all I'm taking is caprylic acid, probiotics, some calcium because I'm still not really eating much dairy, a little bit of magnesium, and some grapefruit seed extract, which is also helping me kill candida. I'll change that to olive leaf extract in a couple of weeks because candida does get used to supplements, so it's important to keep changing them. And I also take kelp sometimes when muscle testing tells me that I should. So that's it. Really simple. And one more amazing update is that I seem to be okay with dairy now. I've been eating it for just over a week with 0 issues, it seems. So that's incredible. For now, I'm just sticking to goat and sheep dairy. But I'm hoping to be able to branch out to everything else in the future. Thanks so much for watching this video. I really hope that you found this interesting. And don't forget to leave me any questions, any things you want to know about TRS so that I can answer them all and tell you everything I know about advanced TRS in the next video. So I'll see you in my next one. Bye.